Who says it's going to happen? And where is the evidence it's going to happen? Where's the evidence it's not going to happen? You don't know. Stop thinking about tomorrow. The music is playing here right now.
Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 335. Hope you're amazing as always. Of course I say it, of course I mean it, and I really do. What date are we on today? I'm going to give you a date, you know what I mean? 17th of December 2021. Year's going, year's nearly gone. I hope you had a good one. Doesn't matter what the chaos is, right? It doesn't really matter. We can really live in our own pockets of reality. We can live in our own bubbles of life. Do you know what I mean? Just because there's things going on the outside that we can't control has nothing to do with how we feel on the inside. You know, rules can be put in place. That's fine. But how you feel about them becomes your choice, because the only person that it's going to affect generally is your happiness. And your happiness is worth way more than these rules that are going on. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've traveled, but it's very interesting traveling. I've been this is my 7th country in the past, since 18 months or 2 years or whatever this chaos has been started. And yeah, it's just learning the rules so you know how to navigate them. That's all this is. And that's the game of life as well, right? It's just learning the rules so we can navigate them. But what has come, and why I wanted to do this episode is really cool, by the way. It's a clip from YouTube, the Mulligan brothers, who've got it from somewhere else because that's what they do. But it's an awesome clip. It's about a Buddhist monk, and he's explaining the concept around fear. And I really like that concept. Why? Because it doesn't matter what level of the game I've worked with someone at. They could be launching some massive project on the stock market. They could be just getting an idea going out into the world, right? It doesn't matter. We all experience this thing called fear, right? It's a strange thing. When we're really safe, you could have $10 million in the bank right now and still be living in fear. Do you know what I mean? So it's something I really want to talk about, because across the world right now, there's a dominant feeling. What is it? Yeah, it's fear. So when people understand that's what really everyone's feeling, they can call it anxiety, stress, you know, whatever it is, overwhelm, whatever it is, but really underlining it is fear. Fear of the future, fear of the past, fear of not being capable of something, fear of restriction, fear of whatever it is. There's so many different types of fear. It could be money resistance. But when we get to the fundamental aspect of it, it's fear. Now, fear can drive you forwards. It can make you take action. And that's a cool thing, right? To move away. I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm scared of staying where I am. So I've got to take massive, massive action to move forwards to get to where I want to go. And that's a powerful way to use fear, right? It really, really is. Now, that's good for temporary fuel. Do you know what I mean? But if you're going to continue that pattern into the future, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and that means that that's your pattern to create fear, so you take action, man, that's going to have some bad consequences. It really, really is going to have some bad consequences. And what do I mean by that? Well, for the start, it means you're going to be in a constant state of unknown. And when you're in a constant state of unknown, what that means is you're going to have a fear response, which means the fuel that you're going to be using, or the emotion to create action, is, guess what? It's not good. And that's going to affect your, you're going to be in a constant state of anxiety because you're going to be constantly future pacing, thinking about the future pacing, and it's going to be unknown. So the feeling that you're connecting to the unknown is then fear. So every time you think think about the future, you're going to feel fear. We got to stop that, right? Because the only feeling we want to be thinking about the future is happiness, excitement, right? All of these other feelings. But when we start using the fear as fuel, then it starts to build a deep neurological pattern towards what we don't want, right? Does that make sense? I hope so, because that's taught a lot, man. It's taught a lot. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Well, no. If you keep feeling the fear and doing it anyway, then you're not going to perform at your best at all in the slightest. You're going to be in a constant state of fear and overwhelm and anxiety, and you're not going to be able to perform at your very, very best because you're not going to be able to access different brain waves like flow states, right? So when you start to understand this, we can start to interrupt this pattern and change this behavior. Does that make sense? Because if we can catch when we get triggered and we have a fear response and our behaviors not what we want, right? Then what happens is we can change it. Because wouldn't it be better to go into that sales call, that meeting, that merger, that trade, whatever it is you're building, right? Or launching that Facebook ad or whatever it is, wouldn't it be better going into that with actual presence and excitement so you can then make logical decisions instead of emotional reactive decisions? Right? Wouldn't that help? Of course it'd help, right? So fear is a big thing that we've really got to deep dive into, and it's something that we got to get control of. Plus the other side of that, physiologically, it creates massive damage. If you're in a constant stress response, guess what happens? Well, yeah, your nervous system's constantly firing, right? You're not going to produce the right brain chemicals like serotonin because you're going to be out of balance. You're going to age, basically. You know what I mean? There's so many studies out there from years ago with rats and things like that. And excuse me if I've said this before, because I know I have. But there's a crazy study out there, which was they took just a small group of rats and they gave them access to food and water, and they were all calm and happy. And guess what they were actually doing? They were actually helping each other. They were saving food for each other, making sure everyone was okay. And then what happened when they put more and more and more and more rats, like a big city, right? Well, what happens is everyone starts to get more stressed. Everyone, yeah, all the rats. They started to get more stressed. And that means they started to be more manipulating, they were living in scarcity. So they were, instead of giving food, they were hiding it. They were more aggressive. They aged quicker. The stress hormone was being flooded with the brain, so their actual brain wasn't being able to think clearly, cortisone spikes. And so when we start to understand this, right, then we have to learn how to manage stress, or in other words, fear, right? Because that's what's underneath of all of it. This making sense? I hope so. And that's why this is such an important topic for us to really deep dive into. And who better to ask than a monk? Well, you could ask me, you know what I mean? But you could ask a monk also. And that's pretty cool. So this clip's badass. We're going to go into it. Obviously, I'm going to do what I do, which is jump in, give my 2 cents worth or $20 or whatever worth you mean, what it is to you. And just show you. You know, it's always interesting to do these things after 19 years. And just see perspectives in myself obviously change, but the truth is always the same. There's more knowledge now because we've got access to neuroscience and other modalities. But at the end of the day, we're just all human. We're just all human going through so many different things, but we're not that unique to what we're going through. So there's other people that are going through exactly what you're going through right now. And that's how we can make a difference. We can make a change. And speaking of making changes and stepping up, I am pumped. Why? Well, we're about to launch. So if you are a trader, crypto, forex, options, whatever you're doing, right? Then you need the Geniustrader Club. That's what you need. It's the most profound mental training system for traders that exists. I'll put it up against anybody, and you need to jump into that today. That's getting pre-launched right now, so you might be one of the first to jump in before the prices go up. What else? If you are a marketer, or you are a coach, or you are a whatever it is, you're building a business online, then there's two things that you need. The first one is the Radical Formula. Yes, the radicalformula.com. That's with one of the top marketing experts in the world and myself, Ryan Alford, from the Radcast. And we are launching the most premier mastermind for anyone building an online brand, especially scaling from 6 to 7 figures. It's about brand and brain engineering. He's worked with the NFL, Verizon, everyone you can imagine, and you know who I've worked with, like some of the top people in the world. So together, it's amazing, it's badass, it's special, and that's the Radical Formula. Okay? So one other thing, what have we got? Well, we have, if you really are fascinated with mental performance, you want to know your brain and how to perform under any circumstance, any way, or no matter what the pressure, you can make sure that you are absolute light years ahead of everybody else and being able to control your brain and mind. Well, what do you need? Well, you need the 8figurethinker.com. That's what you need, the 8-Figure Thinker Mental Training Academy. If we can start growing your brain to perform like it would if it was earning 8 figures plus, do you think that might be helpful? Yes. This is an encyclopedia that's going to become your go-to for no matter what you're doing. We're going to drop you into brainwaves. We're going to update them. We're going to teach you so many things that is not being taught in the industry because people don't know it. It is the premier training system for entrepreneurs and mental performance. So those are the things that you need to all jump on, don't you? Yes, you do. And you can head over to andymurphy.online and start to get connected, or connect with me on social media somewhere. It's nice and easy. All you got to do, Andy Murphy Mindset. That's it. Boom. And we are connected. So speaking of connected, make sure you jump on all of those, and make sure you jump connecting with me. If you got any questions, hey, you know where to find me. So should we jump in? Let's do this. This is going to be a great episode, and I will see you at the end of the show.
Have this inspiration in the mind, and then they start to manifest because they know that mind is so powerful. I am capable of doing it. So they use the power of the mind to manifest something and either benefit themselves or maybe benefit others. But it is the same powerful mind which for other people then at the same time is creating the fear. But instead of understanding, yeah, but it's the mind, I just need to switch it over and make it useful for me. No, they stay inside the fear becomes more, the powerful fear becomes even stronger, and then it becomes so strong, the fear, that it even blocks people in doing anything.
So crew, let's jump in there. Let me jump in there. So we've all had those experiences, right? We've all had those experiences where we are so overwhelmed that we literally can't take action. You know, although we know we need to take action, although we know we need to do something, we genuinely can't think about what to do, and that directly affects our body. So understand that a body and mind connection, it's all one. If you're eating crappy foods, right, it is going to affect your mental performance, right? If you're thinking bad things, then guess what? It's going to affect you at a cellular level. And what's interesting about fear is the old classic statement is false emotion appearing real, right? Or false evidence appearing real, but I like false emotion appearing real. It's a perceived emotion to a perceived events. The event's not real. The past isn't real. The future's not real. They're just constructs of our imagination. And if we understand that they're constructs of our imagination, then we can change our imagination. The world's getting better at understanding mental health. And it's just a word that's being used right now, but it's getting much better and much more gentle at understanding. Just because we can't see it physically doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? It really does exist. And so the mind is an extremely powerful thing. It can help us or it can hurt us. It can make us rich and successful or it can make us poor and sad. It simply depends on what we want to do with it. But the understanding is that it's not just simple as going, well, you're sad. Toughen up, mate. Toughen up. What you doing? Just be strong now. And you're like, all right, yeah. Doesn't work like that. There's stepping stones in between leading someone from a negative state to a positive state, okay? There's stepping stone. There has to be a bridge inside of it. So one of the things that I definitely specialize in is being able to light up or fire up different versions of you to perform at different areas of your life, right? Because we can take how you did the best at one thing and build it in to the best of something else. Even if you've not done that new thing and you're worried about it, creating fear, right? Well, we can build new behaviors so your brain and nervous system get used to that new environment. So again, there's no fear. Okay, so makes sense. So let's jump back in.
But the fear, it's a construct of the mind in the first place. You fear that you get a car is going to hit you tomorrow. Yeah, hello. We are not tomorrow. We are here right now. Why you think about tomorrow the car could hit you? Who says it's going to happen? And where is the evidence it's going to happen? Where's the evidence it's not going to happen? You don't know. Stop thinking about tomorrow. The music is playing here right now.
I just had to jump in right now. That's such a beautiful thing that you just said. The music is playing here right now. Think about that. Think about when you play music. How does it make you feel? It makes you feel amazing, right? Well, if you're playing good music, it makes you feel amazing. It makes you feel like life is happening, right? You could press the movie, the song Rocky, right? Eye of the Tiger. And within 3 minutes, for all you dudes, obviously, but within 3 minutes, you're pumping, right? You completely changed your state, your emotional, physical, mental state. You are a very different version of you suddenly just because of music. So what would happen if we could live in the moment like music creates for us? And what would happen if we could live life that way? In that emotion, in that excitement, in that joy, and in the moment. Life would be beautiful in every second, right?
But this fear of the future, this anxiety of what if. Yeah, what if and what if not. Both of them are there. But the problem with the fear is, he's very strong. Fear is just nothing to let your life be determined by. Yeah, but then you ask yourself, but why? Because there is something else which is hindering him at the moment. And oftentimes this can be fear. Fear is number one. Fear of existence for some people. Fear of losing is the other thing. fear is like the main runner. How do we deal with fear, for example? It's just like this. Fighting is not fun. Fighting against somebody else who also is trained, and then even if you have like gloves on, doesn't matter, is quite painful sometimes. And also, very honestly, I don't like even to fight. It's not that I like it, but I feel the challenge about it. I feel how much I need to like jump over myself now to go out there, and just, even if it's just training. So that means for a martial artist normally, it becomes like a different perspective when it comes to fear, because it's all the time when you walk out there. That you are dealing with fear. Fear of what if I lose, what if like he hit me, what if I get hurt, what if I don't stand up anymore. So many fears is it that you are dealing with, but ultimately you conquer them. The outlook on the rest of the life looks different. It changes something inside of you. It changes the perspective, how you are looking at things, where you see other people, they are living in fear, but fear of nothing. Fear of something they have created with the mind.
And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. Fear is something we create in the mind. It's an alarm system of the brain. It's a default mechanism that is designed to keep us safe, or to alert us, are we in danger, so we can make a decision, are we safe or not. But the challenge is with the world right now is because social media, everything gets blasted around instantly, right? And it's the same with what the chaos that's going on in the world right now. There is chaos, and there is a virus bouncing around that's hurting people. But people's mental state would be very different if there was no social media, right? They would only be getting it from the news, and let's say there was no news. Then what would you be doing? People would be getting sick, and people would be getting better. But you wouldn't be living in a constant state of fear and anxiety. It's pushed on us. It's really pushed on us, right? And whether you go down the conspiracy path, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is clicks and ad revenue. Do you know that the besides the pharmaceutical industries that are making trillions right now, but so are all these news outlets and websites and blogs and everything that's talking about what's going on, because it gets clicks, it gets ad revenue. And so if you just follow the money with everything, you usually get to the source of why someone's doing something. It's always like that. But the mind is so strong. It's so strong that we really can destroy ourselves just by make-believing, imagining that there is something going to happen to us. Imagining, right? And if we talk about quantum physics, or we go down the science route, we're talking about the filter system in the brain and neuroscience, then what we got to understand is what a dominant focus on starts to form a pattern, but it also starts to change how we perceive reality, or what we see outside of us. The brain, there's so much more happening outside of our perception. It's just that we can only filter X amount of 1,000 bits of information through there per second, right? So when we start to understand these things, it's really every moment can change. How many times have you thought about or worried about something, had sleepless nights about an event or meeting a person or something that's going to happen? And then you get there, and the person didn't even turn up, or the event didn't happen, or it went awesomely, right? It's our mind that builds something up into such a big deal because of our old, outdated genetics. And our outdated genetics are going back to hunter-gatherers, it's going back to primal, right? And if we understand that, then we can stop reacting, and we can start being in control of our brain, what we put into it, what food we put into it, what nutrition for the mind we put into it, and then we can build the right behaviors that we want. So we get used to the unknown, we get used to the new, and we get used to the chaos. And so we can find like a moment of presence in all of the chaos. It's like a tornado, right? A cyclone, right? In the middle, the eye of the storm, they call it, where there's absolute calm. Everything around us is in chaos. There's buildings being smashed around. But if you were standing in the middle of the storm, the eye of the needle, everything's still. And imagine if you could do life like that. Wouldn't you be so much more effective?
People have this inspiration in the mind, and then they start to manifest because they know that mind is so powerful. I am capable of doing it. So they use the power of the mind to manifest something and either benefit themselves or maybe benefit others. But it is the same powerful mind, which for other people then at the same time is creating the fear. But instead of understanding, yeah, but it's the mind, I just need to switch it over and make it useful for me. No, they stay inside the fear becomes more, the powerful fear becomes even stronger, and then it becomes so strong, the fear, that it even blocks people in doing anything.
So it's really easy for people to sit there, and this is what most coaches do, right? You have a choice in your thoughts. You can change how you feel. You can do this or this or that or this or that. Well, all of that's true at the fundamental level, right? But it's definitely not true, because that means that person is coming from lack of wisdom, lack of experience, lack of understanding, and definitely lack of clients, and definitely lack of business experience. Because to be able to shift from A to Z, it's not that simple, like I was explaining before. There's so many tactics and strategies and techniques to be able to do this. Yes, you can talk about breathing. Yes, you can talk about meditation. And all of those things are great, and they work, and they're very basic and simple, and they're important. But we can use such more technical, precise things that we use those meditation, but they're part of a system. They're part of a stack, right? And that stack or that system is what allows you to do this time and time again, to be in control, to step into that meeting and own it, to step and launch that product and it just goes successful because you own it. Get on that stage, do that sales call, right? Do that merger, create that big idea, connect with that person, get funding, execute that trade. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's about having mental control and the ability and the tools so you can do specific things. Not just go, oh, I recognize I'm really, really scared right now, or I'm overwhelmed or stressed, but great, then what? Or we meditate, and meditation, we feel good, and then 5 minutes later, the life is reacting, and that means we're reacting, right? So there's a reason why someone becomes a world champion. There's a reason why someone becomes a multi-millionaire. There's a reason for these things, right? They have trained themselves. And at the end of the day, even when I'm working with massive multi-millionaires, there's levels of the game, right? You can never know as much as someone who's got a black belt in martial arts if you're a white belt. And that's the same with mental performance. I'm a black belt in general, but I'm actually a black belt in mental performance. And that only comes through working and just being in the trenches, as we say in the UK, being in the trenches and actually getting dirty and cut and bloody and working with people under wild circumstances, you know? And when you can do that, then you get experience, and it means you can help way more people.
Why you think about tomorrow the car could hit you? Who says it's going to happen? And where is the evidence it's going to happen? Where's the evidence it's not going to happen? You don't know. Stop thinking about tomorrow. The music is playing here right now. The fearful part is one day you look back and say, you have wasted your lifetime. This is the fearful part.
I love that. I love that so much. And at the end of the day, I think that's what drives entrepreneurs forwards. To see what's possible, to have new experience, to see how good life can really be, right? That's being an entrepreneur, that's being a trader, that's being whatever you want to define yourself as. But that's the truth, man. So you can get to the end of your life and look back and know that you gave it everything you've got in every single moment. And if you can do that, you're going to have no regrets when you look back on your life. It's about making decisions. It's about making change. It's about moving forward. It's about feeling good. It's about doing something different to give it everything you've got in your life. That's what life's about. Life is an artistry. Life is, you are the artist. You are painting on the canvas. And it should come from your expression of what's inside that makes you feel good. What do you want to do? There are no rules. The rules are constructed by other people. They're not your rules. The rules constructed by other humans. And they don't even know the rules, right? They don't know why we're here. They don't know what it's like to be after we die. We're just making judgments, or we're just guessing, right? We're taking glimpses of knowledge from the past and saying this is what afterlife's going to be, or this is how you should be living. But the truth is, we all know what's right from wrong. We all know what's from good and bad, and we only can do our best in every single moment. That's what life's about, doing your best. Okay, crew, there we go, the end of episode 335. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you got some cool little golden nuggets out of that. I really do. I work hard on these things. So, 335 episodes. It blows my mind every single time I see that. I'm pumped about when we get to 400. That's a big celebration. And speaking of celebrating, make sure that you are getting ready. For what? Well, if you are building an online brand and want to scale from 6 to 7 figures plus, and you want to be around 2 of the top guys in the world in marketing and mental performance, then you need to head to theradicalformula.com. That's it, theradicalformula.com, and sign up for the VIP list right now. We are launching very, very soon. What else? Well, if you are a trader and you are involved in crypto, options, stocks, forex, then you need the premier mental performance training system that exists for you. It's called the Geniustrader Club. The Geniustrader Club. It's on pre-launch right now. You can go and grab it and be one of the first, and it's going to change your trading, I promise you, forever. It's not going to teach you anything about your system of trading. It's going to teach you how to master any system of trading, and that's what you need. If you, third one, right? If you are just love the mind, love the brain, and want to see how you can take your brain in every area of business to a whole new level, then you need the 8-Figure Thinker Mental Training Academy. That's the 8figurethinker.com. Again, we are relaunching this thing, so you're probably going to get a coming soon. But you might not be. You might be one of the lucky people to jump into this again. I'm releasing it out to the public instead of keeping it private to other people. It's going to the public again, and it is the #1 mental training system for entrepreneurs that exists on earth. I'll put it up against anything, and I know it's more detailed. I know it's more powerful. And it's like an encyclopedia that you're going to be able to take with you for the rest of your life to give you a tune-up, and it's just amazing. I'm so proud of all of these things, and I'm so proud of the 8-Figure Thinker. So, that's it, crew. Make sure you come in to hang out with me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, even TikTok. Yeah, I'm starting TikTok. So, come and hang out, Andy Murphy Mindset. But any questions, anything, please message me. I'm always here to help. And until the next time, much love. And oh yeah, one more thing. Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.